Hi, welcome. In this video, I will help to explain how to play Cthulhu Wars. The object of the game is the player who has the highest doom points and has all 6 spellbooks will win the game. To start, each player will select a faction that he wants to be. If the Great Cthulhu faction is in play, this faction is always the first player. This player will take the first player token, but if Great Cthulhu faction is not in play, then choose the first player by any means you wish. The first player will take the first player token and choose the order to play. This order is either clockwise or counterclockwise. In a single turn, there are 4 phases of play. There's the action phase, the gather power phase, the determine first player phase, and then the doom phase. These phases repeat until the game ends. In the action phase, each player takes 1 action followed in player order until their power is at 0. When the player's power has reached 0, you can no longer take any further actions. The actions are Recruit Cultist, Summon Monster, Awaken Great Old One, Build a Gate, Move Units, Capture Cultists, or use a spellbook. Any of these actions can be taken in any order. The Recruit Cultist action. The player pays the cultist's cost, then places a cultist from their pool onto the map. They must first have one of their units in the area where the cultist is recruited. If they currently have no units on the map, they do not need a unit in an area where the cultist is recruited, and the cultist may be recruited in any empty location on the map. The Summon Monster action. A player may pay the monster's cost, then place a monster from their pool onto the map. They must control a gate in the area where they summon the monster. The player may only summon 1 monster per Summon Monster action. The Awaken Great Old One action. Each Great Old One itself is unique. The way you place each one on the map from your pool is also unique. The faction card has a series of steps that you must do in order to awaken your Great Old One. All of the steps combined make up the Awaken Great Old One action. The Build Gate action. Place the gate in an area where you have a cultist. There must not be another gate there, and only 1 gate can ever exist in any area. You may immediately place a cultist on top of the gate to indicate that you now control it, and you may only create 1 gate per Create Gate action. The Move Unit action. Move 1 unit from its current area into an adjacent area. You can move units from different areas into the same area, or into different areas, or from the same area into different areas. You may move as many units as you want per move action. However, each unit may only move once per move action, and there is a power cost for each unit moved. The Capture Cultist action. In order to remove an enemy cultist from the map, you must have a monster or a Great Old One in the same area as the enemy cultist you wish to capture. A captured cultist is eliminated in the Gather Power phase, and then you can return it to the owner's pool. A cultist can be protected from capture if a monster or a Great Old One of its own faction is in the same region. However, a monster cannot protect a cultist from capture if there's a Great Old One attempting to capture it. If you are attempting to capture the cultist with your Great Old One, but the cultist has its own Great Old One in the same region, then it is protected. You may only capture 1 enemy cultist per Capture Cultist action. The Use Spellbook action. Some spellbooks on your faction card have special abilities that allow the player to use them as an action. you may only perform one special ability from a spellbook as a single action. Battles. A battle is initiated in a single area and involves only two factions, no matter how many factions may be in the area. A battle may only ever occur once per area on a given player's turn. The player who initiates the battle action must pay 1 power point in order to start the battle. The battle proceeds through the following steps. Pre-battle abilities. The player may use any pre-battle spellbooks or abilities on their faction sheet. The player who initiated the battle uses all of their pre-battle abilities first. Then the player who is defending in the battle may use their pre-battle abilities after. Combat dice calculation and rolls. After all pre-battle abilities on both sides have taken effect, each unit has a combat rating, which represents how powerful that unit is in battle. Your faction's combat in the battle is equal to the sum of all your unit's combat rating involved in the battle. Post-battle abilities and assigning battle results. After totaling the battle results for each side, players must assign the results the enemy rolled to their own units. If a die roll shows a 6, that means a unit is killed. Results on 4 or 5 means that units are pained. Kill results are always assigned first, then pain results after. When assigning the kill or pain results, players may choose to use any post-battle abilities that they have available. Applying battle results. Following the rolls of the dice, players need to apply these to their respective units. Any elimination or kill means a unit is removed from the map and returned to the player's faction pool. Any pain results applied to units causes them to be retreated from the area and must be retreated to an adjacent battle area. Pained units do not need to retreat to all the same area, but can be split up among multiple areas if desired. The player who initiated the battle is the attacker. The attacker applies all of the pains first to his units. This is then followed by the defender. You cannot retreat a pained unit to an area containing any units belonging to the faction who you just battled. If there are no such adjacent areas to retreat to, that unit must be eliminated instead of just retreating. For a special battle condition, if you have all 6 spellbooks on your faction card, then a battle may be an unlimited action, which means that players can initiate battles as many times as they want, but still need to spend the power normally. So 1 power point per battle initiated, and the player initiates a battle in only one area at a time. Once all players have completed their actions and all battles have been completed, any players with remaining power may choose to pass and end their action phases. In this case, all players will then have 0 power, and so we move into the gather power phase. Players must total up their power for their next round. Players will accumulate power from many different ways. Power is obtained by each cultist on the map, each gate that they control, each abandoned gate on the map, from cultists that you have captured in the action phase, and from faction special abilities. In this gather power phase, no matter how much power you obtain, you can never have less than half of the power of the player with the most power. For example, if the player with the most power obtains 20 power points and another player obtains 8 power points, then the player with 8 power points will immediately take half of the power points of the player with 20, and so the person with 8 power points will have 10 to start the next round. Following the gather power phase, we must determine the first player for the next round. The faction who has the most power after the gather power phase will become the first player. If there's a tie, then the first player from the last turn continues to be the first player. As before, the first player will determine the order of play either clockwise or counterclockwise using the first player turn marker. The final phase is the Doom phase. Each player will advance their points on the Doom track equal to the number of gates that they control. Following that, the player may choose if he wishes to perform one and only one Ritual of Annihilation. This is in player order starting from the first player. If a player chooses to perform the Ritual of Annihilation, the player must spend power equal to the number on the ritual track. Following that, the player must advance the ritual marker one step forward. So the player who does the ritual will advance their Doom point token equal to the number of gates they control and gain one Elder Sign for each Great Old One they have in play. Elder Signs may be examined and revealed at any time, but that is the choice of the individual player. You do not have to show any Elder Signs to any other player if you do not wish to. In the Doom phase, any faction special abilities will take place again in the player order starting with the first player. After that, you check for the game end, and the game end comes if any player has Doom points equal to or beyond 30. Also, if the Ritual of Annihilation track advances to the 10 position, players may continue to perform Rituals of Annihilation, but only one per phase. Then they can reveal all of their Elder Signs, the total number of Doom points is counted up, and the player with the most Doom points and has all 6 spellbooks will win the game. Happy domination, and enjoy the game of Cthulhu Wars.